What is up, guys? Yep, we got the very famous 70s punk symbol here, if you're into 70s rock and roll music. So, yeah, and the reason being is because it is the symbol of anarchy, which is a topic we're going to talk about. So, now, with government becoming more unethical, selfish, and corrupt, people are starting to question if we should even have government altogether. Yes, I used to be one of the fuck the system crowds back then, but libertarianism can be debunked really easy. Now, libertarians assume a society without government would we won't pay tax, and we resort to voluntarism to build up our communities. But that's a problem. Voluntarism is only voluntary. How advanced will a society become if we had choice and free will? That would just slow production on everything, because as humans we always tend to find the easy way out and do stuff when we feel like it. Yes, we're lazy creatures, but having a society based upon voluntarism is just stupid. Sorry, I keep clicking the mouse because if I don't refresh the page it'll just fall asleep, so but I'm keeping this symbol up for the entire video. Anarchists say they are their own person, no one rules them. Well, once again, mammals, that we are mammals and we urge for greed and power. It's just in our DNA. Who can lift up the biggest rock rules the pride, unfortunately. Well, a society with no government will just create the survival of the fittest scenario, no matter what. A hierarchy will always exist in all human groups. As humans, we're either followers or leaders. We question or we follow. So why would you want to push the social order and make it even more localized, which will be even more repressive if you are at the bottom of that social order in that small village? Why be ruled over village leaders? This is just tribalism. In which society nowadays does anarchy actually work? Name a country. Another thing is humans need law and order. Just imagine the crime rates if we were to get rid of government, if we were to be like the Purge film. Anarchists are caught in this hippie world that we can all just naturally coexist with each other. Well, we're mammals, we're nature, and nature is not fairness. If you get rid of government, and a dictatorship will just take control, because there'll be so much chaos. People will demand a dictatorship, will demand law and order if there is no law and order, and they will demand a strict one that will actually take away freedom. So yeah, dictatorship which will just take over and introduce laws which will make your life even less free, opposed to a democracy where choice making is met with opposition from the Senate. Oh, they say the Non-Violent Aggression Act and non-violent values, yet where has this ever worked? Thousands died even following Gandhi. Thousands of people died following Gandhi. Although I do believe tax goes into bad use, like the military-industrial complex and foreign wars, and to help third world countries who never seem to help themselves, it all seems to go to the governments and not the people of the third world. But taxes also do a good in the world as well. Our schools, roads, pensions, they're all from taxes. They spread about wealth distribution. It makes society more equal. It provides safety. For being a bunch of hippies, they sure have no sympathy for disabled people in their survival of the fittest world. And if it wasn't for government, we wouldn't have infrastructure. We wouldn't even have the internet. The internet is a product of the Cold War. DARPA. Government do come up with innovations as well as the public. And if we scrap government, who says Tesco or Walmart might not just take their place? They already have enough money and sell everything and have a bazaar in every town in the UK. Also, without government, who would protect the environment? If an oil company with enough money just takes control, they can just dump whatever they want in the rivers. And yes, although many Western governments are in bed with the oil companies, in my country, Scotland, the government is not as corrupt, and because of that, the environment remains intact. And by I'd say the Scottish government is not as corrupt. I mean, it's not as corrupt in a warmongering sense or a corporate sense, but it is starting to become very socialist, which is sort of very scary with all this internet policing, so yeah. Also, how stupid would it be that every place within the country has different laws because everywhere is ruled by somewhere different? How would a highway be built? Because everyone would be like, well, we don't want this highway in our town. And tribalism and communities will just grow to annex other communities around them. It'll also create more division as well, and not diplomacy, because power just grows. Also, how will these communities defend themselves without an army? The Romans had an empire for a reason, as most of Europe at the time. As most of Europe at the time was run by tribes, they also, and that's why they were overrun by the Romans, because they were all separate Celtic tribes. They also say, well, if we all had guns, we don't need a military, we can all defend, you can all defend yourself no matter what. And also, I do agree with the Second Amendment in some regard, but on an anarchical view, it's absolutely stupid, because how will you be able to defend yourself with a government that's not only providing that has an official army, but has tanks, helicopters, jets, intelligence? This is why the occupation of Afghanistan by the Taliban tribe from the Americans was a walk in the park, and they're still there. While Iraq, which had a government, Saddam Hussein a dictator, was a harder walk in the woods to invade compared to Afghanistan, which is ruled by tribes. And because of that, Iraq is a mess while Afghanistan is continued to be occupied. Anarchy just creates gang culture, tribalism, and high school-like social orders. Yes, I'm critical of government. Yes, we should question them and hold them accountable. Governments shouldn't be tyrannical or dictatorial, and don't assume governments with democracy is more willing for its people, as democracy did not work in the Arab Spring, and dictators of complete authority don't work in far left Soviet Union societies or in a far-right Nazi Germany society either. So yeah, those are just my points on anarchy and on the man and on the system. So yeah. I had to say some good hippie catchphrases, but let me end it with a very peace out, smoke weed every day, and always listen to the Beatles. Yep. Okay, see you, bye.